Okay, everyone. Welcome to the webinar, Instagram Trends for 2020, brought to you by Oozle Media and Beauty as a Business. My name is Stephanie, and I'm a co-founder of Beauty as a Business, and I'll be taking you through a few Instagram trends for 2020 that we're seeing rising in popularity to help you build your account on Instagram this year. In this presentation, we will be providing tips for students and schools. So I will be referencing and talking to both groups just to give you a heads up about why I would be making different suggestions for different folks. We're thinking about tips for both individual students and again for schools and how they use their social media as well. So let's go ahead and jump in. Our first trend for 2020 is longer captions. There was a time when shorter was better, and we did used to see that shorter captions on Instagram got more engagement. But really, we've always told people to think of Instagram like a mini website or a blog. It's got a place for pictures, which catch people's attention, but you keep people's attention through your caption. And as long as you have something worth reading, people will engage with longer captions. In fact, data is starting to show that longer captions get more engagement. An Instagram influencer marketing platform found that the average caption length has more than doubled since 2016. They estimate that this year you will see more captions that average 60 to 75 words per post. So this chart right here is showing you how over the years, if you look at the orange dots, that's 2019, and on the bottom, you'll see the caption length by characters. The bigger the caption is, the more engagement people are getting on their posts. So I don't think you should be afraid, again, to think of Instagram almost like a mini blog where you can share thoughts, stories, and go a little bit more in depth. So for a lot of people, writing captions can be very intimidating, especially when they think about, oh my goodness, 60 to 75 words. That feels like a lot to write, and I don't know what to write about. So what should you talk about with all those words? There are two types of captions that we talk about in our Instagram 101 lesson on captions. I know a lot of you are going through the free Instagram course or the free photography and video courses that we have through BaaB right now. I'm sorry, the Instagram course is not free. That is for paying students and schools. But in that course, we do talk about the types of captions you should write. And two of the types that we talk about are educational. Okay, you are becoming a beauty expert, you're learning to become a beauty expert, and people expect your account to have some advice and knowledge in this realm. Your content lends to your credibility. So make sure that you're giving good, true, helpful advice and share what you're learning. This doesn't have to be something that someone can do at home or do themselves. Just showing that you have knowledge in an area that someone else doesn't builds your credibility and builds trust with people. This is why, I would hire a plumber to fix my sink. If they're talking on their Instagram or their social media about the different kinds of pipes and why one is more important than the other or the pros and cons of certain things, I start to think, you know what? I don't have the time to make myself an expert in this. What I would rather do is hire somebody who clearly has a lot of knowledge and let them do the work that I'm looking or get the outcome that I'm looking to achieve. And then we really want to also inform people. Uh, I think that informative captions really lend to breaking stereotypes. So think about how many people, when you signed up for beauty school, had some preconceived notions of what that meant for your life, for your career, and the type of person that you are. We can use social media as a platform to break stereotypes, share success stories, and talk about what really happens with your education and the hard work that you are putting in to become a beauty professional. This is the chance to peel back the curtain a little bit and really let people know, hey, I know there are some things that you may think about what I'm doing in cosmetology school or the career path that I'm choosing. Let me give you a real look so that you can learn to respect the time, the energy, and the investment that I am making to become a skilled professional. And for schools, I think this applies to you as well. I think that you can really inform people on how beauty school works, how people can get enrolled, things like why taking a tour matters. Let your students speak to that on your Instagram account. How many schools did they tour? Why did they end up picking the school that they did? That helps educate and inform other people who are looking at your Instagram account trying to determine if they want to pursue an education in beauty. Um, and so people really also use social media as a way to just understand a community or see what happens day to day there. If you're a student, I don't think that you should be afraid to talk about being in class, going out on the salon floor for the first time. This is the journey that you're taking. And you want to document that not only in photos, but in words as well. And if you are able to do that, you're going to be able to create, again, these really engaging captions that are longer format and that we do see get you more followers, get you more engagement on Instagram. Watch your formatting when captions get long. I'm going to jump back to this example over here. You do want to look at spacing, using emojis. I've seen people use different fonts, something to break up the wall of text so that people feel like their eye gets pulled down through a long caption. So those are some things to think about as you look to making your captions more educational, more informative, and really treating your captions like a blog post. I don't think you have to do this for every single post. I do think there are some posts that still should just be fun and clever and witty, and even some that just have emojis as the caption, but you can only do sparkle star, sparkle star, sparkle star as a caption so many times. At some point, you're going to need to build the muscle of using words alongside pictures on Instagram. Okay, trend number 2. Let's talk about doing more stories. So less posts and more stories, please. We really have seen, and we get the question a lot, how many times should I post on Instagram? Looking at, again, this data provided by a tool we use called Later. I also really highly recommend the free version of Later for any of you that are looking for a scheduling app or a place to organize your Instagram content. Later has a free version that we love and think is great. But again, they partnered with this influencer company and they looked at trends over the years from 2016 to 2020 of how often people were posting to Instagram every week. And as you can see, year by year, it goes down to the point in 2020 where we're almost seeing just 2 posts a week. And really, the reason why we're seeing this decline in posting in feeds is because of stories. Everybody knows how Instagram, copied Snapchat and put in stories, and they're this disappearing content that shows for a limited amount of time. But think about your own use of Instagram. I know for myself, I've certainly gotten used to just pushing on the first story at the top of my feed and letting it play through the stories of people who I actually follow, engage with, am interested in. And so I think that something that you need to look at in 2020 is posting more stories and really taking the mentality of, if I'm posting at least 2 times a week on my feed, I'm probably doing enough content. And what I like about this as well is that frees people to really focus on the quality of the posts that they do put on their feed. I think instead of quantity, you really should think, gosh, if I can just have two really killer pictures or memes, posts on my feed with, again, a really good caption, then I'm probably doing what I need to do to maintain my feed. And really, what I need to look at is stories, which people expect to be less edited, less perfect, because they do disappear after 24 hours. So I think that you should take this time to think about themed grids. What we really recommend with the schools that we work with at Oozle Media is we recommend in a 1 month period posting at least 9 times on the feed. That makes a 3x3 grid, which is really when somebody comes to check out your account for the first time, they see mostly that first 9x9 square of posts, and they get an immediate sense of who you are and what you do. And for both schools and students, I think now is the time to really dive into, if I don't need to be posting every day, if I don't need to put that pressure on myself to have 20 posts in 1 month, but more like 9 posts in the month, what do I want those 9 posts to be? What colors am I going to use? What fonts am I going to use? What is my vibe? What is my personal brand? And make sure that that is cohesively displayed throughout your Instagram feed. Again, we have an entire course on Instagram stories for beauty as a business. This is a curriculum that schools give to students where they learn how to create things like an Instagram feed, best practices for photos, videos, and like I said, we have an entire course dedicated to story ideas, tools and apps, formats, and how to use stories in general. So for 2020, be thinking about, okay, if I'm cutting down my posts to more like 2 or 3 times a week, maybe even less, what am I doing on stories? Because that's the place where I need to be active and engaged. And we've even seen this. The more we've shifted a lot of our energy to making sure that we have stories every day on BaaB's Instagram versus posts every day, because we've seen that we actually grow followers faster and we get more engagement when we are active on stories, and not so much like it didn't really make a difference when we cut back on posting. What made a difference is when we started posting more on stories. So with that being said, one way that you can get a little bit more runway from your stories is by really utilizing your pinned highlights. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have seen this. This is a trend that really started actually like early 2019. As soon as the feature came out where you could pin a story to your Instagram profile, a lot of people started branding their pinned highlights. And what this allows you to do is treat part of your Instagram like a navigation bar for a website. So think about what a navigation bar on a website does. It allows someone who visits the website for the first time to quickly see where they could get the information that is probably most important to them. And you have to think about who is visiting your Instagram profile and why, because that's going to help you determine what your pinned highlights should be. What kind of information are they trying to find, and how can you get it to them as easy and as quickly as possible so that they don't have to do a ton of digging? So we recommend for schools, on your school Instagram, you should have pinned highlights about your programs, sharing information about what people are going to learn, the length of the programs, any scholarships you have related to the programs. Another pinned highlight on touring a school. we've seen that a lot of people, when they're first researching school, they're hit immediately with like, hey, just come into the school and see it and let's talk there. They need a little bit more guidance before they're willing to come to a place physically. So if you have a pin highlight that kind of gives them a taste of why touring a school is important, some things that you get when you tour a school, the information that you get, that will help make them more likely to come in and actually tour with you. Of course, financial aid and scholarships, everybody's wondering how to pay for school. Student work is a huge one. You definitely want to be tagging your school in your work that you're doing on clients, because this allows them to reshare it on their Instagram. And what we know is potential students really want to look at the work current students are doing, and they gauge the level of education by how good that work looks. So I really hope you guys are taking killer photos and videos of the work you're doing. And schools, I hope you're resharing that to your Instagram accounts, because that's basically the proof people are looking for that you're doing a good job educating people. And then, of course, if your school has a salon service area, posting the work that comes out of there, happy clients, good reviews, that's going to help build social trust with people who are considering coming to the student salon area. Again, make this a pin highlight, make it easy, quick to find on your Instagram account. For students, the pin highlights that you guys should have are really the ones that are very similar to what stylists have. Before and afters of your work. Everybody loves a great before and after where there's just this amazing transformation. We're all totally addicted to content like that. Any monthly specials or promotions while you're in school, you could use this area to share, whatever the promotions are in the salon area happening at that time. It helps you practice for when you go into a salon or when you're out on your own, of making sure that you are doing monthly specials and promotions to get people incentivized to book with you. Again, reviews and client shoutouts. The review on Google is so powerful, and it doesn't just have to live on Google or on Facebook or on Yelp. You can take screenshots of those reviews and reshare them and put them on your pinned highlights. The other thing that we love seeing, and I love seeing this on stylist pinned highlights, is when their clients take a selfie after an appointment and talk about how much they love their new hair, or how much they love their facial, how much they love their eyebrows, their eyelashes, whatever they're talking about. Tell your clients to tag you so that you have the opportunity to reshare that social proof onto your story and keep it pinned there. Because if I'm a new potential client, I'm going to quickly go to this pin highlight and say, well, for people who have given you money, who have actually sat in your chair, what did they love about their experience? Were they happy? And I'm going to make a judgment based on what they're saying and how they look, of if now I'm willing to spend dollars with you as well. Tips or product reviews. Again, this goes back to, you are my beauty expert. The whole reason why I would have incentive to follow your Instagram account is that you're providing information to me that I want, but I don't have the time to go and review every shampoo, every conditioner, every lotion, every moisturizer, every toner. When you guys have information like this, and again, someone can quickly engage with you saying, hey, in my professional opinion, here are products that you should use. Here are ingredients you should watch out for because they might do more damage than harm. You are building trust and expertise. And the people who have the most trust and expertise are the ones who are going to get the most dollars. And about me. So this is a great way to, again, put a face behind the brand. people want to know who you are, and if they feel like they relate to you, that you share common interests. Maybe you're a mom and they're a mom, and you've got cute pictures of your toddler and they can totally relate to what it's like having a toddler. These are little personal things that, again, are going to make you stand out when people are thinking about, who do I want to give my money to get this service done. The About Me, sharing your story, allows you to have a personal touch, and, like I said, just make that connection and stand out a little bit more than somebody who isn't sharing anything except for, a wall of hair on their Instagram account. You got to give people a reason and a way to emotionally connect with you. And an About Me is a great pinned highlight to have to do that. And then the other one that we would recommend is seasonal content. Okay, Mother's Day is coming up. Get a pinned highlight up where you talk about awesome Mother's Day gift ideas and tell people to buy a gift card for their mom to come see you. The holidays, summertime, think about all the things that happen every year and the products and the reasons why all of a sudden a certain service becomes really important to us. I always hear from stylists like, as soon as summer comes, we need to be talking about going blonde. And as soon as fall comes, we need to be talking about going dark. And so what are specials, promotions, ideas, beauty ideas that you can give to them all the time? I love when pedicure season is coming up, and I love when stylists post ideas for the best nail colors to do this year, or like what nail colors are the most trendy, the most beautiful for this year. So think about holidays, think about seasons, think about beauty trends that have those times, and make information and content that speaks to that and pin it again so that people can find it really easily and enjoy it over and over again on your Instagram account. Okay, trend number 4. Um, this one is interesting because we haven't seen this roll out fully, but we do see this to be true. So some people are seeing that Instagram is taking likes away. So you can't see how many people like a photo. And this is really big and changes our perception of influence, because before, when likes were more widely seen, and again, I don't know when exactly Instagram is going to implement this for everyone. I actually manage quite a few Instagram accounts, and on like half of my accounts, I don't see likes anymore, and on the other half, I still do. So I still think this is going to happen throughout the year. There was a lot of talk about how social media was impacting people's mental health and their confidence and their self-worth by making it super important to get all the likes or have a ton of comments or have a ton of followers. And we really saw a backlash against that, where people were like, hey, this is not healthy, this is not good for us or for young kids who are using social media early and earlier. So with Instagram reacting to that and saying, you know what, we think we're going to take away the like count, again, that changes our perception of influence. And what it means is that everyone has influence. And we've seen this trend happen over the last 2 years, where it used to be that brands really wanted to work with people who had the most followers. And to some extent, that's still true. It kind of depends on what your goal is. But what I want to say to specifically small businesses and students who are going to be future small businesses, right? Each of you represent your own business. Working with people who have a small follower account is becoming more powerful. This is where we're seeing the rise of micro and nano influencers. And the reason why is because these people have a high amount of trust with their followers. They have small enough follower counts that they might have personal connections to the majority of the people who are following them. So somebody with 500 followers, again, the odds are they have deep personal connections, or even maybe loose ones, but still personal connections to the people who follow them. And so when you partner with them, when people endorse things on their Instagram account, they don't just have to be these big influencers anymore. We're seeing that a lot of these smaller influencers have more sway because they have more trust. And again, with Instagram taking away likes, what that means is we used to say, oh, depending on how many likes a picture got, or how many likes somebody was averaging on their photos, that told us how much we could trust them, or how popular or cool or credible they really were. Well, that metric is going away. And so what do we have to fall back on? Well, it's the actual true trust and personal ties that people have with their followers. Does somebody have a high amount of trust with their followers? And what you need to start thinking about is everybody who sits in your chair, even if they have 100 followers, again, they probably have a high amount of trust with those followers. So the more that your clients and students are talking about you, whether you're an individual stylist or a school, you really should look at this as an opportunity to reach people that they have a powerful endorsement or influence with. And I think that that maybe can shift our mentality more to the idea that any person who sits in your chair, you've got to find a way for them to talk about the experience they had with you. That any shout out you get on social media, you shouldn't ignore people who you think, oh, well, they don't really have a ton of followers, or like, oh, they're clearly not an influencer or a blogger. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anymore, because the currency of trust is what actually gets dollars and what actually gets people to remember you and to trust you. This actually happened to me yesterday. Two people who I know very closely started talking about the same new ice cream that they had found at the grocery store. And that brand, I mean, first of all, I was like, oh, I really want ice cream, and that sounds delicious. But now that brand is stuck in my head because two people I know personally were talking about how awesome it was. When you find clusters of people to talk about you, I heard this once from a stylist and I thought it was really powerful and really good. It's like, she's like, I really want to get, maybe 20 somethings in my seat, but then the next people that I'm looking to get from those 20 somethings who come to see me are actually their moms. And then when I get their moms in my chair, I want to get the friends of their moms. And so she was really looking at people in terms of clusters, and how could she infiltrate clusters of people who know each other to build her book. And again, social media is a way to get in front of people's friends and family and their social cluster. So don't be dismissive of somebody who doesn't have a ton of followers. Find a way to get anyone and everyone who walks into your school and participates in your program, or anyone and everyone who sits in your chair and does a service with you. How can you get them to do a social media shout out, to tag you, to just pop you up on the radar of all of their followers? So again, what we found is this means that like student generated content, user generated content becomes so powerful because it is a testimonial. It's somebody who says, I enjoyed my experience enough to post about it and talk about it on social media, and to tag either the school or the student and the stylist that I was working with. And one of the fastest ways for schools to get this kind of content is to offer a social media curriculum. So again, that's what Beauty is a Business is. It is a series of online lessons that take people through Google reviews, photography and video, websites, Instagram stories, and really teaches your students and your staff how to leverage this tool and get the most out of it, because a tool is only as useful as the person who is using it, right? A screwdriver has a lot of potential to be useful, but if somebody is using it like a hammer to hammer in nails, they are not seeing the full benefit of that tool. So we want to make sure that you guys are getting the most out of social media. And this isn't about becoming an influencer. This isn't about getting 50,000 followers. I know plenty of stylists who are making six figures, good money, and only have I'm saying that in quotes, 1,500 followers on Instagram. They have the right followers. They are engaging their clients in the right way using Instagram to make sure that they are getting the most rebookings, the most consistent bookings, that they can raise their ticket price, that they are letting people know and reaching the friends and family of their clients to continue to grow their book. So again, social media is a game changer tool for stylists, but you have to know how to use it properly to get the most out of it. And I just want to close with, again, some stats here about the up and coming generation. Gen Z, millennials are still really influential. The power of user generated content is incredible in that we've seen, okay, it's powerful if a friend of yours posts about a brand, right? You trust that friend, you know that friend, they've endorsed that brand. But what statistics and research are finding is that people actually are just as trusting, if not more trusting, of user generated content that comes from complete strangers. Because what they're saying is, this person isn't a beauty influencer. They're not getting paid to do this social media shout out for this stylist or this school. And if I go and look at the posts that someone is tagged in and people who I don't even know are saying great things about them, but they liked it enough, one, to post it on their social media, and two, I don't have to have a personal connection to this person. I trust it. That is so powerful. So really focus on, yes, you need to be creating good photos, good videos, and you need to be showing up on stories in your feed. But it's also very, very powerful when someone else is creating content about you. So how can you get your clients, how can you get your students to be posting and tagging you? Because that kind of content has a lot of trust and a lot of influence. Okay, and the final trend that we're going to go over today is video. Video is big. It's here to stay, especially right now when everyone is home. Like, I just read a stat today that Instagram has seen a 50% increase in daily usage. And a lot of that is through stories, IGTV, Instagram Live. These are video type platforms. So I really want to encourage you guys in 2020 to build the muscle of video. Get as comfortable with video as you are with taking pictures. I know not everyone, I personally hate the sound of my voice. I know that it's uncomfortable to see yourself, to hear yourself, but lean into it, especially again right now. We really want human connection. We want to hear someone's voice. We want to see someone's face when we're just not allowed to interact in the ways that we're normally used to. And video is a great way to help people feel connected to you as a person. And again, on BaaB right now, we are offering free photography and video courses. So our course on photography and video using your phone is completely free right now. Anyone can go through it. It goes over all the best practices for how to take a good photo, how to take a good video, apps to use for editing. We just really want to help you guys create the best content possible, because we know that good content is going to lead to good things on social media. If you're a school and you're listening, or if you want to get this free curriculum for your students, please go to beautyasabusiness.com and request the demo. We will get in touch with you and get you a link to the free curriculum. And then if you are a student, a staff member, an owner, anyone on this webinar, really, please go follow us at Beauty as a Biz on Instagram. We are giving away daily tips, tricks. There's so much good content on there regarding social media marketing. I think that a lot of you will be able to find what you're looking for there. And we're doing giveaways right now. We just did a $50 giveaway for people who reposted some of our story templates. Check it out. There's a lot of good stuff there. Okay, that's it for our Instagram Trends webinar. What I would be happy to do right now is just leave it open for any questions. Like, we'll do Q&A for the next 5 minutes. And if you are here to get some credit, some time with your schools, please screenshot, take a note, do whatever you need to do to show that you were on the webinar. We are going to record this and add this into our Beauty as a Business LMS, where we have the free courses on video and photography and Google reviews up right now. So we also have content on there on what you should be posting during the pandemic. And yeah, I'd be happy to take some questions now. So the first question I see is, how do we feel about TikTok? Yeah, TikTok. So they have also really benefited from this time of quarantine. I've been reading that all the social media platforms have seen big usage, big increases. TikTok, especially with their challenges, with their fun content. Here's how I feel about TikTok. Everybody knew that there was an advantage to being an early mover on a platform. I do think TikTok's audience is still pretty young. And I do think people go there to be entertained. Instagram and Facebook, we do see that people go there to be informed. TikTok does have like how-to videos, but again, people I think are mostly using it for entertainment. So if you're a school or you're a stylist and you are gonna start a TikTok channel or an account, keep your content focused on things that are fun and match the feel and the tone of content on TikTok that's doing well with other accounts. As a digital marketer, I'm starting to get signals that TikTok is following the evolution of every other social media platform. And what that evolution is that it starts with a very young group. It gets older the longer that it's out in the world and the more popular it gets known. At some point, it might even quote unquote become uncool. Everyone jokes about the moment that their parents got Facebook or that their parents got Instagram. And that's why, everyone left to go to Snapchat or TikTok. But the other evolution that I see is when a social media platform gets advertising APIs built in, that's when you know that they're starting to hit a mass adoption point that they want to cash in on. TikTok does not have a super good advertising API yet, but it's clear that they're working very hard to get that, because they do want brands and they do want schools and they do want people to advertise and reach people via their platform. So I think 2020 will be another good year of TikTok following that evolution. And when we start to see that they're hitting, real advertising platforms, like Snapchat never really quite got their advertising platform in order, but we'll see what TikTok does. That's always a good signal that it's a place that you might want to start showing up. Okay, another question I have is it best to have your students tag your school or at your school or use your hashtag? I like students to do a tag and a hashtag, and here's why. When somebody checks out your school's Instagram account, there is a place where they know they can click to go see all the photos that you're tagged in. You want all your awesome students to be showing up there, because again, they're going to be judging your school based on what they find there. The other place that they know to look is your location tag or your hashtag. So, if you have a branded hashtag for your school, which we do recommend, make sure all your students know what it is and go check it yourself to make sure that it's getting populated and that people are posting really good content there. So for me, if I was a school, I really want students to tag me in a photo, and I really want them to use my hashtag, maybe even my location tags. Okay, For students, is it also smart on the pinned highlights for different types of services? Yes. So definitely look at your pinned highlights as what is the most important information I want people to know about me, and how do I get it to them quickly and fast? So if you are somebody who does nails and hair, if you do eyelashes and facials, I definitely think it would be good to have a pinned highlight that explains, here are my services. Maybe even I've heard mixed feelings on sharing your pricing. I personally really like it when people share pricing. It just helps me understand like the cost right away and gives me more information to make decisions with. But yeah, I think it's great to have a pin highlight about the services that you offer. Okay, so how do we get the free classes online? Do you have to sign up for the demo class first? Um, so there is a couple ways to access the free courses. If you're part of a school, I would really recommend that you get the course through your school so that you can get some credit for it. If you just want to do some self-learning, you can go to the Beauty as a Biz on Instagram, and our link in bio has a place where you can sign up to get the free courses. But again, if you're a student, I would really go talk to like your owner, your director, your teachers, because we want to get you guys access as a school so that everyone can get credit for the hours that they spend learning. Is there any truth to TikTok being an unsecure source media that compromises your data? I mean, honestly, I do think there's a lot of suspicion around TikTok because, frankly, a lot of people feel uncomfortable with the fact that it is a Chinese company. It was an app that started in China. Um, I think any source, any platform, any social media platform, any place where you are required to give information about yourself and you're sharing personal information about yourself, you have to understand as a user in this day and age, that is the currency by which we are living. To get access to these platforms, we are trading information about ourselves, and we're basically telling these companies that they can use our data to make money and to give it to other people to make money. This is why I think you'll always see important, very important discussions that we should be having around, advertising on social media, Facebook, Google, TikTok, Instagram, all of them, right? We need to understand, what are we giving to these platforms? What is the currency that we're trading in? Are we okay with that? Could you expand on having a branded hashtag for the school? Yeah. So I think that every school should have a hashtag that is associated with their school, and all of their students should know it. For our Oozle Media clients, we make a Do It for the Gram poster that they can put up in all the places around the school. We recommend putting them like on the bathroom mirrors, on classroom whiteboards, on doors, on salon stations, because you also want people who come to your guys' salon at the school to know your Instagram account and your hashtag as well, so that when they post a picture of the work that they got done, they're gathering it all in one place so that you guys can get the most benefit for it. So I really like when schools don't just have the hashtag of their name. I've seen some schools really pick hashtags that kind of have a positive message, like I chose this school and that's their hashtag, or like go evergreen, or I'm living the Bellis life, or something. I don't know, something where it's like the school's name and a little saying, and then everybody knows that that's the hashtag for the school. That is super important, again, because it's gathering all of your interactions under one area, and it's allowing people who are researching you to see them in one place, and then you as a school can go look at that content and make sure that you're being represented the way that you want to be represented. Okay, so how can you tell if a sponsor is real or a scam? Um, yeah, it's an interesting world that we live in. Um, if you are getting hit up by brands to do sponsored posts, a couple things that I would watch for it. I would do your research. So again, if they DM you and you go check out their account and it looks like they have bad English or they clearly have bot followers, I would be skeptical about that. I mean, you guys should be picky about the brands you collaborate with, because the brands you collaborate with reflect who you are as a person, and let people know that, again, you're endorsing them. And if you endorse something bad, you're also going to have that reflect badly on your brand, on your personal brand. So I would always do my research, like look up their website, look up their social media accounts, make sure they seem real, make sure they seem legitimate. You know, consider the offer that they're giving to you, and really ask yourself, like, for example, if a makeup company wants you to promote an eyeshadow, you know, I think it's totally fair to say, hey, I need you to send me a sample of this eyeshadow and I need to use it and I need to see if I genuinely like it or not. Because again, you are putting your personal brand on the line every time you do an endorsement or a collaboration. So do collaborations and endorsements of brands with people that you really like and that you trust, because you don't want to be known as somebody who's giving bad endorsements or basically spreading scam brands around the internet. Um, so what is the best app to regram? I've seen a couple different ones. Honestly, I haven't found one that I love. Again, I really recommend checking out the app Later. There's a free version of it. Again, it's Later, Later, and I love all the stuff that you can do from their platform, which does include regramming. You can also like schedule your posts. You can look at your feed to make sure that your photos and everything that you're posting looks good and has, again, what we talked about, kind of that themed feel where you're using cohesive colors, fonts. Just make sure that your feed looks good overall. So I'm a big advocate for Later. I think that I love that they have a free version. We ask our clients to get the paid version a lot to work with them, because we just, again, find it to be such a helpful and useful tool. Okay, another one that I have is opinion on IGTV. Yeah, IGTV. Here's my thing. I really think you got to master some of the basics. And part of the reason why I see people not do well on social media is because they're trying to do too much. So they're getting like overwhelmed by all the things they could do on Instagram and they're not doing any of them well. Or like they're trying to do a YouTube channel and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and it's just kind of burning them out. So my opinion on IGTV is, if you have a good Instagram account, if you've got your posts consistently going up, if you have a good feed, if you have good pin highlights, if you have a good brand, if you see that your stories views are going up, then I would jump into IGTV. I think that maybe doing IGTV too early, before you have some of those other pieces in place, you're just not going to get more traction there, because you won't have the credibility in the foundational areas of Instagram for people to actually want to like keep following you and keep engaging with you. And frankly, IGTV is a bigger project. Like, if you're going to start doing IGTV again, you got to follow some of the same rules of YouTube. You need to be consistent. You need to have good audio. You need to have good visuals. You need to have a story. You need to have a point. Like, what is your content doing? Why should I continue to watch it? It's just a bigger project. So if you feel like you've got the other places on Instagram nailed down, go explore it. If you haven't done the foundational stuff first, start there. Okay, what is the paid Later program offer that you feel is so necessary to social media? The paid version of Later, the reason why I like it so much for at least small businesses is it gives you with the paid version, you get really robust analytics. And I like having that data over a long period of time. And that really just helps us understand how an account is growing and why. I also really like that, like with the paid version, it's easier to repost things. You can gather all your user generated content in one place. You can post to multiple platforms. So like I work with a lot of schools that have multiple locations, which means they have multiple Facebook pages, and they have to have the paid version of Later to be able to use the scheduler for all of those. So yeah, just I mean, I really like the analytics, some of the deeper tools for gathering user generated content, and then the ability to post to multiple accounts. Those are some of the things I really like in the paid version of Later. How did you create your pinned highlights main picture? What website or app could you suggest to create this content? Okay, so I get this question a lot as well. There is an app called Canva. There is, again, a free version of this app, Canva, Canva. You can make graphics there, and that is where you can design your pinned highlights. With BaaB, we do sell pinned highlights in our store, where you can either DM us and let us know like what color and what icons you want. And I think we're selling them for like $7 to do a set of 5 pinned highlights for you. So we do offer to make them for you. If you want to DM us on the BaaB Instagram account, somebody can reach out to you there and get you set up. Or again, I think there are free places like Canva where you can go design your own icons and use the colors and the look and create the look and feel that you want for your brand. Okay, guys, I'm gonna wrap up the webinar. Thank you so much for coming, for participating. I loved all your questions. I really hope that all of you are going through the free photography and video and Google reviews course that we have open. You know, we are going to be doing more webinars coming up, so keep an eye out for those. And yeah, we will speak to you soon. Thanks so much again. Bye, guys.